Welcome to this explainer. I am incredibly excited today to guide you through the dramatic, untold origin story of a true football legend. Before the global fame, the billions of dollars, and entire stadiums shouting, "See you!" there was a completely different reality. We're going to unpack a childhood filled with extreme hardship, massive sacrifice, and terrifying moments that literally almost changed the course of sports history forever. Nowadays, we all know the billionaire, right? The multiple-time Ballon d'Or winner, the absolute global icon. But this story actually begins in a completely different universe. Cristiano Ronaldo was just a skinny, young kid from a small island carrying what seemed like an entirely impossible dream amidst immense poverty. This explainer is the story of how that determined child fought against the odds to become one of football's greatest legends.
Part 1. An Island and a Dream. Humble Beginnings.
His early life was just an absolute roller coaster of rapid progression. We're going to trace his steps starting in 1985 on a tiny Portuguese island, moving through some crucial youth milestones, hitting a massive medical roadblock at age 15, all the way to global stardom by 2003. Let's break down exactly where this journey begins. Cristiano Ronaldo was born on February 5, 1985, in Funchal, on the Portuguese island of Madeira. And he was born into a family with very, very little money. His parents worked incredibly hard just to support the family. His dad worked as a gardener and an equipment manager at a local football club, while his mom worked tirelessly as a cook and a cleaner. Life was far from luxurious. Ronaldo actually shared a single tiny room with his siblings. But despite the lack of material wealth, his parents always encouraged him to dream incredibly big. And those big dreams immediately zeroed in on one single thing. From the absolute moment he could walk, football wasn't just a game for him, it was an obsession. He would play in the streets for hours on end, getting so caught up he'd actually forget to eat his dinner or do his homework. His passion was so intense that neighbors would see him out there practicing every single day. By the time he joined his first youth club at age 8, coaches quickly realized they were watching a truly special talent. He was building a completely different future for himself, one kick at a time.
Part 2. Leaving home at 12. The Call to Adventure.
12. That's the number that changes everything in the story. At just 12 years old, when most kids are just starting middle school, Ronaldo made the incredibly difficult, gut-wrenching decision to leave his family behind to join the Academy of Sporting CP. He packed up and moved alone to Lisbon. I want you to imagine the emotional toll of that for a second. Living hundreds of kilometers away from your parents at that tender age. He cried constantly from severe homesickness, missing his family deeply. But even with tears in his eyes, he absolutely refused to give up on his dream.
Part 3. Bullying and Heartbreak. The Road of Trials.
Getting to Lisbon was really only half the battle, because life there wasn't easy at all. He wasn't just away from home. He was actively bullied. Some of his teammates would constantly make fun of his accent because he came from the island of Madeira. Combine that intense loneliness and severe homesickness with the constant crushing pressure to perform at an elite academy level, it was basically a perfect storm designed to break a young kid's spirit.
So the crucial takeaway here is his response to this adversity. This essentially became his operating system. Step 1, refuse to quit. Step 2, train harder than literally everyone else. And step 3, turn every single insult into pure motivation. Instead of folding under the pressure, he used every rough day and every cruel comment to become mentally stronger than all of his peers. He was forging a bulletproof mindset.
But just as he was building up this mental armor, he hit a massive wall that no amount of willpower could simply push through. At age 15, he faced a terrifying physical trial that threatened to end the whole shebang. He was diagnosed with a racing heart condition. Now, this wasn't just a minor setback. Doctors explicitly warned him and his family that continuing to play football without treatment could be highly, highly dangerous. The dream he had sacrificed everything for at 12 was suddenly on the verge of collapsing just 3 years later. But there was no way he was letting it stop him. He bravely underwent heart surgery. Thankfully, the operation was a total success. And incredibly, his sheer determination pushed him right back into training within just weeks of the operation. This terrifying challenge, rather than scaring him away from the sport, only served to completely solidify his unstoppable drive.
Part 4. The Manchester United Dream, the Ultimate Reward.
Overcoming these massive hurdles perfectly set the stage for the climax of his early life. His unbelievable performances at Sporting CP soon began attracting attention all across Europe. And then came 2003,
Sporting played a friendly match against Manchester United. During this match, his jaw-dropping talent on the pitch left everyone in absolute awe, especially the legendary manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. He played with such ridiculous skill and fearlessness that the opposition players themselves were actually urging their manager to sign him on the spot. And the result? Just days after that single, awe-inspiring performance, Manchester United officially signed the teenage Ronaldo. Think about that. The boy who once played barefoot in the streets of Madeira, who cried himself to sleep in Lisbon, and who risked heart surgery to keep playing, was now beginning a journey at one of the biggest clubs in the world. A journey that would eventually inspire millions. Part 5. The ultimate lesson, why this matters. We've traced his incredible path from poverty to greatness. But what should you really take away from this explainer today? The most powerful takeaway here is that success isn't determined by where you start. Your starting point in life, no matter how humble, how difficult, or how filled with obstacles, absolutely does not dictate your final destination. It's determined by how hard you are willing to work when things get tough. Cristiano Ronaldo proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that your future is shaped by your resilience. Every insult, every setback, and every terrifying diagnosis was just fuel added to his engine. So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. If success isn't determined by where you start, how hard are you willing to work for your own dream?